Hello, I'm Alex the Hunted, and as you can tell from the title, this is going to be why I am going to get a PS4 rather than an Xbox One. Now, as you know, I have a 360 right now. I'm a huge 360 fan. I support because it has way better games, and the online service could be better, but it's more of a gaming machine than the PlayStation 3, I think. However, I cannot say that about the Xbox One. Not in any way can I say that the Xbox One is a better looking gaming machine than the PS4, because it's not. It's that basically Microsoft have done what Sony did with the PS3 when they did the PS3, and they got cocky. They thought, wow, everyone's buying the Xbox 360 and we can just do whatever the hell we want with the new game, the new console, and people will just buy it because it's got our name on it. Well, I'm sorry, but that's not the case, and that's why the PS4 looks so much better than the Xbox One, because it's got less of this crap. It's not watching you 24/7 with a camera. It's not treating you like you're some kind of criminal, doing basically a checkup on you at once every 24 hours. And it's not saying, you know that game, you don't really own it. We own the license to it. You just paid us money to use it. That used game crap, which it just seems to be that Microsoft seem to think that we're all living on beds of money and we can just spend $60 or 40 quid on a new game whenever we want, when the main reason why people buy used games is because they don't have the money for it. They don't have the money for it when it comes out new. They have to wait for it to go down in price, and usually it goes down in price quicker with a used game. And Microsoft seem to think that, no, you have to pay full price all the time. Well, I'm sorry, but we can't. We're not all rich. Microsoft seem to think that, like I said, we all live on beds of money. We don't live on beds of money. We live in a house. Not a mansion, a house. We don't have a swimming pool in our back garden. We don't have a private airplane. We have a car and a shower and a bedroom. Pretty much it, that's it. And for you to say to us, you have to spend more of your money. Basically for them to say that we basically are going for the richer people. That's what they're doing. They're aiming for the people who have more money than sense. And sorry Microsoft, but you can't go around telling people what they can't do and how they should play their consoles, buy their games. You can't do that. People make these decisions by themselves. People don't buy a game because they're told to buy the game. They buy the game because they make their own choice. They say, this game looks good, or I really like this franchise, I want to get the next installment. You can't go around to people saying, hey, that game that you're thinking about getting, but you're not so certain about it, and you don't want to buy a game that you're not sure about, so you want to go get a used game, or you don't have enough money to buy the game new, and you want to buy it used because it's cheaper and you can actually afford it. Well, guess what? You can't. You have to spend full price all the time. That's not how you do these things, Microsoft. You can't tell people, you can't dictate what people can and can't buy. And this is what the PS4 is like. Sony learnt their mistakes from the PS3. They learnt that they shouldn't be hard on indie games. They learnt that they shouldn't be basically bullshitting us and then still making us pay more for it. I mean, I think I'm right to say the Xbox One has 13 exclusive games coming to their system. But some of them also coming to PC. Fantastic. PS4, I think they said they have 40 exclusive games coming to their console. And didn't they also say that they've got 140 games in development that will come out, that they're hoping to come out in the first year of the PS4 on sale? The first year! That's a one pretty much every 3 days. A new game. I wonder how many of those are going to be indie titles, but that's an astonishing amount of games. That's why That's the reason why people would buy this console. This is why the Wii U is failing so much, because it hasn't got any games. And Sony have gone, yeah, we've got a shit ton of games. We've got more games than people. Well, we've got more games that we could. I bet all the 140 games would probably fill up that 500 gigabytes of memory space. It's astonishing how Sony have just they listened. They realised, hang on a minute. No, people don't. Our customers, our main gaming customers, the people who actually buy our machine, not the people who would go, you know, the main reason why I want to buy a new gaming console, so I can watch television on it. They're more of a side product, not a main focus. Oh god, it just seemed to be like Microsoft seem to be going for a wider audience, but they're alienating their main audience. They're trying to get small bits of a wider audience instead of going for the audience that really matters, which is what Sony are doing with the PS4, and Sony are doing it without the spying, without the used games, without the DRM, and they're doing it for £100 cheaper, or $100. Why would anyone else buy an Xbox One over a PS4 when the PS4 is not doing any of the legal bullshit that Microsoft are doing? And they're doing it cheaper. Sony are doing it cheaper, and you basically get, I've been reading the bundle, you get 2 controllers, a mic, and I think for a little bit extra you get 2 games free. Well, not free, but you know, you pay for 2 games. And then there's also all the free-to-play games and all the indie games. Sony have learned that it's basically the case of, if you make it easy for developers, especially the indie developers, they will come. They're not. The main reason why a lot of indie developers are turning away from Microsoft is because Microsoft are charging them to release their games. That's not what you do. You don't charge people for the right to release a game on your console. I am rambling here and I am just going on and on, but just the PS4 looks so much more like a gaming device for every demographic of gamer than the Xbox One. The Xbox One is basically, they're trying to sell us a all-in-one box. But guess what? We already have those things. My TV, I just need to plug my TV into a socket and then to the cable, and I can watch television on it. I don't need to plug up some enormous box into it to watch TV. Why would I do that? And anyway, it's not coming to the TV function is not coming to Europe. So why the hell would a European market buy it as well? Oh god, I am going on and on. But basically the reason why I'm buying a PS4 over an Xbox One is because the PS4 is more of a gaming rig. It actually looks like, and I might make an unpopular thing here, but it actually looks like it might be a PC rival as well. That's the thing with the PS4 conference, is that they said it's about the games. Yes, we've got Netflix and all that thing, but they're the side attractions. The main thing is the games, the thing that we listen to. We listen to you, the people who buy our stuff. And Microsoft have been clearly arrogant. They think they've gone an arrogant route, thinking, yeah, people will just buy our console because it's got the Xbox name on it. That's not the case. That's not the case. You've got to treat your customer base with a bit of respect. I mean, I don't think we know how many games are coming out for the Xbox One on its first year release. We know how many are coming out for the PS4. We know that the Xbox One has 13 exclusive titles coming to it. But are those only 13 games you're going to release in your first year? Apart from PS4 and their 140? I mean, it just looks so... They had so many games in that Sony press conference that they couldn't show them all at once. They had to get all these games on the stage at once and had loads of screens saying, look at all our indie games coming out. Look at all the indie developers that have gone, hey, Microsoft, Sony know what they're doing, Microsoft don't. Fuck Microsoft, we're coming to Sony. Oh, God. It just astounds me how arrogant Microsoft have gone with the Xbox One. And here's a bit of news for you, which I found out. Is actually, do you know who's running the Xbox One and who's in charge of the Xbox division at the moment of Microsoft? The person who's running the Xbox division of Microsoft at the moment is the person who was running the PS3 when everyone hated Sony. And now he's moved to Microsoft and everybody hates Microsoft now. So it can't be a coincidence that it's probably this guy who is making those horrible decisions. And it's not that guy that you see at the conference, on the Microsoft conference. I can't remember his name, but he's obviously this guy who's pushing these horrible ideas, and it's obviously not working out. And I won't say the console war is over, because Microsoft, it looks like they have enough dedicated fans that are kind of like those fans that, that'll ignore the negatives and just look at the positives, and when you tell them that these negative things, they go, no, it doesn't bother me. Well, I'm sorry, but it will bother you. If you need to connect to the internet once every 24 hours, what if your internet breaks? In Europe, in England, we got BT. In the UK, we've got the BT. They break all the time. It just astounds me how Microsoft seem to think that they can do all this shit to us, and then we'll basically take it for them. Sony's press conference was so good. It was probably the best E3 conference I've ever seen. And I've only seen 4 years of E3 conferences. I have not been a long time gamer. I will happily admit that. I've been a casual gamer. It's only the last 4 years have I really been a real hardcore gamer. And I've watched E3 for the past 4 years. And Sony's press conference at E3 this year was just so good. That's the thing. Microsoft's press conference at E3 this year, that's the phone ringing. I'll try and ignore that. If it goes to me, I'll just ignore the phone. But anyway, what I'm saying, Microsoft may have sold me on a few of their games, but it didn't sell me on the console. Sony sold me on the games and the console. That's what sprung them ahead. Is that they've gone. Here's some great games coming for our console, but now here's a reason to why you now here's why our console is why you should buy our console on its own terms. It's just so much better. I'm probably going to have to answer that phone. So I'll wrap up now. Basically, I'm going to be buying a PS4 above an Xbox One. And Microsoft need to really look back on what their decision and gone, hang on, if our consumers are saying no, and we're still going to push these things, will they still stick by us? They won't. You can't dictate what the consumer can and cannot do. You can't. You can. And that's what Microsoft are doing with the Xbox One, and that's what Sony are not doing with the PS4. And actually, I came to it thinking that really, online passes don't look that bad in comparison to what the Xbox One is doing with the DRM and used game things. I would happily have online passes above what the Xbox One's policies on used games and the internet thing. So Microsoft really need to buck up their ideas. They really need to take their head out of their arse and go and just stop glorifying all their money from the 360 and going, and just look, because this Xbox One might take them out of the gaming race. And that's a shame, because they have got some good franchises that will probably have to move console because the Xbox One the Xbox One may do well for the casual gamers, but it's not going to do well for the hardcore gamers. And actually, some of my mates who are still thinking about getting an Xbox One, I want to say to them that think about it. The PS4 is £100 cheaper. It doesn't require DRM. It doesn't do the used game thing. It doesn't watch you all the time. And it's got more games coming out for it. And you still think the Xbox One looks better. the argument they're using for me is that, oh yeah, but Sony had that huge hack a few years ago, about last year. Well, here's the thing. Sony have learned from that. And really, actually, if you look at it, the Xbox One looks easier to hack now. With all the internet requirements and the Steam thing, that's going to be way more easier to hack than the PS4. And I'm just expecting it to happen. And I want to say to my mates who are thinking about getting an Xbox One over a PS4, I'm not saying don't buy it, because I can't. Again, I'll be dictating what you can and cannot buy. But what I'm saying is, just look back. Stop. Take off your Microsoft Xbox 360 fan goggles and actually look at the console. Look at the Xbox One compared to the PS4, and you still think it looks better. And I just think you'll have a horrible experience with the Xbox One. And I bet actually the Xbox One you can't even sell. Once you've bought the console, you can't sell it. So I bet that's probably going to happen as well. I'm not saying it is going to happen, but I think it probably might. So, and if you do get an Xbox One, at least you can sell it and get a PS4. That's why I'm buying a PS4, because they're not bullshitting the gamer. They're not telling their gaming audience, the people who actually make most of the money for their system. They're not saying that we have more right. They're not taking away our right. The PS4 is not doing that, and that's why I'm going to get it over the Xbox One. So that's been me going on for a while, and I'm Alex the Hunted. And if you buy an Xbox One, fine, you can do that. But I don't think you're going to have a good experience with it. Buy a PS4 is what I'm saying. I'm not saying you have to, but just buy. I think a PS4 looks way better than Xbox One, and that's why I'm getting it. Ciao, bye, bye for now, all that crap. Goodbye. I'm rambling on. Goodbye.